Hello, this is John Monahan with Velocity Boiler Works, and today we're going to be covering the Raptor series clean and service. Now, there's some myths out there with the fire tube products that they don't need to be cleaned and serviced. We're not going to talk about those. We're going to basically tell you that the units need to be cleaned and serviced, and we're going to cover why and how to do that here. So, first, in order to perform this annual maintenance, which is strongly suggested, we're going to need a few tools. We need some Torx bits, a T20 and a T25, 10 millimeter socket or an open-ended wrench for 10 millimeter, 2 pipe wrenches, pump pliers, adjustable, something to loosen the flexible connectors, Phillips head and a flathead screwdriver, and a really small flathead screwdriver like a number 2 electrical screwdriver. Combustion analyzer and a manometer. We're going to want to take a combustion reading before and after the cleaning service to see where we're at. Steel wool, stiff nylon bristle brush, shop vac, water spray bottle, sensor parts kit, zip tie, and or some weed whacker string. So the sensor kit, what the sensor kit's going to have in it, your supply sensor, return sensors, your flue sensors, all of which should be fine. They'll need to be changed annually. It's just good to have them on hand in case one's reading outside of its ranges. We'd rather be safe than sorry. The parts that can be wear and tear are going to be your igniter and your flame sensor. We want to check to make sure that they're gapped correctly, that they're not bent out of the way, and that they're clean. That's basically what the steel wool is for, to clean them off. So why is annual maintenance required? Well, as with fire tubes, as you can see in here, this has a little bit of refractory that fell down on it. This one was never serviced. As you can see, the tubes basically just sealed themselves up. We want clean passageways. We want the flue gases to travel down through all these tubes and have a good exchange with the water that they're encased in. If there's a buildup of products of combustion, other debris, anything that they're sucking in from the air intake, it can create film on the tubes, which can result in overheating, which can result in warpage or further on damage or possibly even leaking. So before we start taking the unit apart, one of the big things we want to remember is to make sure we turn both the gas and the electric off to the unit. We don't need any surprises, don't need one of those shocking moments. It's very good to make sure we shut everything off. So getting into start clean servicing the unit, the first thing we're going to want to do is remove the front cover and set it aside. There's a handle right up in here, and the cover just pushes on. Grab it, give it a nice firm pull towards you, and the front cover will come completely off. Once the front cover's off, you can see it gives you complete access to the heat exchanger. Here goes your heat exchanger right in here, your gas valve, factory supplied gas cock to turn the gas lines off, your blower assembly, all your high and low voltage connections are going to be down here at the base. But now you have full access to the heat exchanger and all of the components. I'm going to turn this gas valve off, make sure it's in the off position. Don't want any surprises. If there's one out in the system, which there should be, turn that one off as well. It's never a bad thing to have double safeties. Next thing you want to do, you want to disconnect 24-volt harness from the gas rectifier. Unplug that and take care not to turn this switch off. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but there's an on-off switch on the gas valve. We want to make sure it is in the I position, not the O position, when we go to reassemble everything. Next, we're going to remove the hose connecting the APS switch. We're going to pull this hose off. That's on the negative pressure side of the gas valve. We're going to pull it off, and we want to make sure that we also return that when we put the unit back into service, or else we get an error 28. The APS switch would fail to close. Next, we want to pull the boots off the igniter and the flame sensor. Pull those, get them out of the way. They'll dangle down inside the cabinet. We'll replace them when we're done the clean and service. Next thing, using our holdback wrenches, we're going to want to disconnect the flexible gas connector. Use your holdback, take that off, pull that flexible gas connector out of the way. Bend that out of the way, push it all out of the way. You can see now you have better access to get to these 10mm bolts, so start removing them. That'll be your next piece. The wrench is a little bit easier to use as opposed to the socket. There's going to be one bolt back in here that is going to be the first bolt you got to put back on, and the last bolt you have to take off. Be careful not to drop it down in the bottom of the heat exchanger. It likes to hide back there in that corner when you do drop it. So once all those are removed, I want to carefully lift and move that burner towards you. We want to make sure to clear the studs so we don't tear the refractory up. There goes the studs that we want to clear. Once that's removed, we want to unplug the high and low voltage harnesses. It's much easier to remove these when we have the unit in our hand. With the fan sitting in our hands, a lot easier to unplug and reinsert these when we're going to put the unit back together. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to clean and inspect the fiber mesh burner. We'll blow this off with some compressed air, vacuum it off. We do not want to clean the mesh off. We want to leave the mesh there, but vacuum it down. Make sure that the refractory is still intact. Check the condition of the flame sensor and the igniter. Make sure that they're within the proper gaps, especially the igniter. As they get further and further apart, you can get hard light offs, delayed ignition, some noise on light off, and it can usually be attributed to the gapping on the flame sensor. This is found in our I&O manual. It'll give us what the gap is supposed to be. We want to bend it back into place. If it's too far gone, replace it. That's why they're in that kit, to swap them out. Because again, if you bend them too much, sometimes they snap, and we run into some other issues. So while we have it all apart, we also want to check the venturi, the air venturi. It's going to have some flappers in there. We want to make sure that the flappers are moving freely, that there's no debris in there, like pollen buildup or leaves or bugs or anything that may be inside that may have found its way inside of the cabinet. We want to make sure that this is free from any of the debris, which could cause some issues further on down the line with it. So next, here goes a nice clean heat exchanger. This unit has not really been fired much, but we want to clean each one of these tubes. 36-inch zip tie works real well. Piece of weed whacker string. Run it down through each tube. Rinse it with water. Fill it all down. This is going to be a real nice kind of like small bucket area, so you don't got to worry about splashing water everywhere. You can get your hose in there and really rinse it out. We want to make sure that all those tubes are clean. When we're flushing out the fire side of the heat exchanger, we may get some debris that's going to form inside of our condensate trap. With all the water we're pushing through, it should flush it out of the trap. We want to make sure that the drain's clear and it's free running. But if the debris gets trapped in there and it's not leaving, that's when we would disconnect the hose clamp off the base and the float switch harness from the boiler, take it out, and then clean the trap and put it all back together. One thing, we want to make sure that we reconnect the float switch, or it will not allow the unit to fire. That float switch is just making sure that the trap's not blocked. If it is blocked or fills with water, it'll shut the boiler down. Acts kind of like a wet switch for my scorched air guys out there. So next, we want to reassemble the boiler. We basically want to take our process and do it in the reverse. Put the harnesses back in the fan. Place the burner plate back on top of the heat exchanger. Put all of our bolts back in. Again, this back bolt is much easier to put on first, as we can kind of still tilt and move the burner plate around, then do our other three. Once everything's reassembled, again, we want to make sure again that gas valve is in the I position. We put our hose back on. We have our 24-volt harness plugged back in. Get the unit up back together, and we want to get it fired and run a combustion test. Again, it's in the beginning. We should have done one. We want to make sure that the combustion's on or close to what it originally was, or bring it back into spec. For natural gas at sea level, these are going to be your ratings where you're looking for your high fire and low fire and your parts per million. Your approximate starting for your natural gas. All of this can be found in the I&O manual, which hopefully should still be with the unit. If not, it is available on our website, velocityboilerworks.com, and we'll have all these manuals available for you. LP will not be found in the I&O manual. It would be found in the sheets included with the LP conversion kit. And if it's LP, you would need to be in these ranges. And again, the approximate throttle screws to get the unit to fire. Now, these are just approximate. They're not going to be the dead final numbers. But make sure it's burning in its proper ranges and you got good light off. Return the unit back to service, put everything back together. Let your client know that they're in for another trouble-free year of heating from this wonderful product. And again, if you guys are ever out there in the field and need technical assistance, we can be reached 215-535-8900. My direct email is on here, john.m@velocityboilerworks.com. Feel free to reach out to me and I will help you with whatever you can. Thank you again for listening. Have a wonderful day.